Hello, this is Brent, and I'm refinishing this basement. Now, I wanted to make this video because I found that there wasn't a lot of information, and of course, I'm not a professional, and I'm not a plumber. I don't have any formal training, so you should always consult with someone who knows what they're talking about. But I can tell you what I learned for your own information. Maybe you're in a remote location, maybe you can't get help. Maybe you're just starting the project and you're looking for information. This is just information, take it or leave it. What I have here is the radiator that I had to move because I'm building a new bathroom in this location. And I have to insulate the wall. So I had to move it in two ways. I had to move it about 3 feet from here over to its new location. I also had to move it out from the wall because I'm going to be having R20 closed cell foam insulation for the basement. So I learned a few things. So when you're dealing with moving a radiator, it actually isn't, it's kind of intimidating, of course. And I think the most important thing would be to make sure that you know a lot about your furnace. I was really lucky because I had a new Lennox high efficiency boiler. It automatically purges the air, takes care of everything. It doesn't care if, in my opinion, it doesn't care if you do this. It's gonna get rid of the air by itself anyways, and it's gonna just work fine. So obviously you shouldn't keep putting new water through your system constantly. We're down in the basement here, and you know, what you're gonna have to do, of course, is detach it, and all the water's gonna come out. And as you probably already know, it gets really black, right? As long as you have the radiator off, you should also clean it out inside. I mean, the proper way to do it is with hot water and everything. And I just turned it on its side, and I could only flush cold water through it, but I got a lot of crap out of there, and it works nice now. It's probably working better than before, but who knows. So what you do with these things, first of all, is that this is cast pipe, just like you see in old water. So it's corrosion resistant, and this is 1/2 inch. It's pretty standard. You'll find bigger sizes too, but for the radiator it's usually going to be about 1/2 inch. And it's very similar. When you're in the plumbing stores, you'll probably see that black pipe. Well, that's for gas, black steel, and it has no corrosion resistance, so you shouldn't be using that. You should be using the cast. These fittings are all reusable, basically. They come off really easy, and you put them back on again just with some pipe dope. Now, the only thing that isn't really reusable that you're going to run into is these. And what happens with those things is that they are not really reusable because there's a piece of flexible metal inside there, like copper or brass. I think it's a brass fitting, and you really need to buy a new one of these. And this is the last place that you hook your everything back together again. So you take it apart, get the pipes to the right size. You can usually buy the right pipe size, pretty close. And but you might have to, in worst case scenario, you're gonna have to thread one of these pipes to do a custom length. I didn't have to, and depends on your situation, you might not have to. So anyways, these things are like about $5 each, and you just buy a new one. And this is the last place where you put it back together again. And I didn't have to deal with, draining anything, or I just reused the existing valve. Everything was pretty straightforward. But that's just go buy a couple of connectors. You'll need 2. And then start taking it apart. And what you could do too is just cap it from a place, and then do all your work on the rad to clean it up. But a lot of water comes out and it's a mess. So you're gonna need buckets and stuff to get ready for that. And I just put a hose drainage on it and went down to my pit. But that's why I didn't really want to
I didn't really want to cap it off because then I'd have to drain it again, right? Every time you get into the system. So of course, just read the manual on your furnace. I'm not gonna go into my furnace. You look at your own, make sure you understand it. All you have to do is shut off the furnace, turn the temperature down all the way, follow the instructions on the furnace, shut every valve you can off because that'll reduce, the amount of water that's gonna have to come out and be put back in. And like I said, make sure you know your furnace. If you don't understand your furnace and you don't feel comfortable, of course, always in every situation you should be dealing with a professional. But yeah, I mean that's all I can really tell you. It's half-inch cast, and these you got to replace. These are the two fittings where this connects to this, right? So this is the last place once you've run all your lines the right way. And it's pretty rugged. It lets you torque on it. So what I did was I used 2 pipe wrenches. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but I just held whatever I didn't want to turn, and then I turned with the other pipe wrench. So and you really have to torque these threads down. If it's not, you should feel it come to the end, and then a quarter turn, just like with any other mechanical device. You feel it. It's a feel thing, and you turn it with the pipe wrench, and so you feel it kind of starting to stop, and then another quarter turn or so. That's usually you'll know when if you're experienced with mechanical work, you'll know that, because if you don't torque it down enough and you leave too much thread exposed, and it even with the pipe dope, it'll probably leak. It might not. You can always torque it down again. So yeah, I mean, let me talk a little bit too. Like, you can, if you were really had to, you could convert from this metal to PEX or to copper, but then you'd have to convert it back again. So you'd need 4 connectors, and there really isn't any advantage to that as far as I'm concerned. You can go buy this stuff. Like I said, you could rent a pipe threader if you had to make a custom length. And but converting it to copper and then back, obviously PEX is the ultimate, because I just love PEX. I'd love to just convert to PEX everywhere, but the problem with that is you have to go to 3/4 PEX, because the internal diameter of half-inch PEX is a lot smaller than this internal diameter of pipe. So you're going to go to 3/4 inch PEX. It has to be the red PEX because it has to be oxygen. It doesn't allow oxygen into your system. So that means that you got to find adapter, and you got to switch to 3/4, and it's all a lot of work when these parts are right there and they're practically free. So as long as you can use, the existing pipes that are available, and you can create the proper system, it's going to be way faster and easier just to do it with the original cast. I mean, obviously, if you're going to be moving this from, huge distance, then I guess it might be worth it to go to the PEX. All right. So hopefully I'll get a chance. I'll post this video, and I'm looking at doing some more, and this is why it was worthwhile for me, because I knew, like, I've got another radiator upstairs that I have to work with, and I want to eliminate it and like convert it either to wall or radiant floor, hydronic radiant floor. So for me, it was worth it to learn about how to move the radiator and how to deal with the furnace. And now I feel comfortable. I have no fear at all of moving these radiators around and servicing them or whatever I need to do. So it's worth it. And it was actually kind of fun. All right, so now back to insulating the basement. Thanks, bye.